Welcome back to the double leg. This is the double leg premium exclusive show. We are back. We took a couple of weeks off because I was out of town and wasn't able to get the videos out. I will take the blame for that, but we're back with the exclusive show. We're going to break down what we got going on for UFC Fight Night, Pavlovich versus Blaydes. These are all the plays for the premium members, and we're going to give a little bit of reasoning why we take these picks. If you're watching this before, sit down and listen, and maybe you can get a little insight onto why we're on these plays. If you're watching this after, hopefully we got some picks right, and we had another good weekend. So without any further ado, don't want to take too much of your time. We'll get into it with the main event. Sergey Pavlovich, Curtis Blaydes. What do you got on this one, if any?
Oh, man. I took Curtis Blaydes on the money line because you look at all the money and it's coming in on Sergey, and he's the underdog still. So if he wins, man, Vegas is paying out a lot of money. And Curtis Blaydes, I think people are falling in love with that Sergey Pavlovich power. But if you really break down this fight, man, that's Sergey's one path to victory here is just you're preying on that power shot. And yeah, Curtis Blaydes has been knocked out. But I think Curtis Blaydes is also a dude who's getting a lot better as he, gets older and has more high level fights. Definitely has more high level fights than Sergey. I think he gets the takedowns. I think he does the ground and pound. He looks good on the top, and I think he's got a good shot to win. And on BetOpenly, when that line dropped down to around minus 150, I jumped on it for a unit and a half, and also hedged with a Sergey Pavlovich KO just in case, so we don't lose a bunch of money. But if Curtis Blaydes wins, it's going to be a good hit.
Yeah, I went with a Curtis Blaydes money line minus 150 for a unit as well. Pretty much backing a lot of the reasons that you just said. A lot of the money's on Sergey. It was even heavier earlier in the week. Now a little bit more money's coming in on Blaydes, but that line's not moving. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of a trappy line, and I'm gonna back Blaydes more experience. I think he's got more tools, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I also sprinkled a little on Blaydes round 2 KO at plus 700 and Blaydes round 3 KO at plus 1200. Those are just little sprinkles, 0.2 units, because I think he's probably going to wear him out in the first round, and he'll probably find a finish there in rounds 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then I also got under 2.5 in a parlay, which I'll complete later. But
Yep.
co-main event, Brad Tavares, Bruno Silva. I got Tavares by decision, plus 170 for a half a unit. I look at this one and I see Brad Tavares, a lot more experience. I look at Bruno Silva. He's been in there with Alex Pereira. Gerald Meerschaert was not a good look. Everyone can look at that and say it was not a good look. But his wins in the UFC really don't stand out too much. Like he's got a lot of KOs on his record. I think he's got some good striking, got a lot of power. He's got a good chin. But his wins in the UFC don't stand out to me. Wellington Turman, Andrew Sanchez, Jordan Wright. So I think Brad Tavares is durable enough, skilled enough, experienced enough to get the win by decision because of the durability of Bruno Silva. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't have anything on this one, but I agree with you. And, Bruno Silva, his last fight, it didn't look that good at times against GM3. And, Brad Tavares is a great striker. He might not KO him. I don't think he finds a finish, but as this fight goes on, I think he's going to be the fresher fighter. And if it's just 3 rounds, I think he can hang for 15 minutes. And I think he'll be the busier guy, too. Yeah, I like your play there. I don't have anything on it, but if I were to lean aside, I think it's Tavares.
Bobby Green, Jared Gordon. What do you got on that?
So Bobby Green, I'm taking him in a parlay with Yasmin Lucindo minus 120 for 2 units on that parlay. I think both those fighters win easy. And I think people are going to be high on Jared Gordon because he beat Patty. Like, whatever the judges said, he beat Patty. And that's a different style. Patty doesn't really have the head movement and the defensive striking that Bobby Green does. And Bobby can wrestle too. So I think Bobby Green puts on a clinic on the feet, and you just see him touching him up the whole fight, and Jared Gordon really just not being able to do anything offensively. So and Lucindo, yeah, I just can't get behind. I can't get behind Brogan Walker, who lost to Juliana Miller via TKO and is 34, 35 years old. So, and I thought Lucindo looked good in her debut.
I just got Bobby Green inside the distance at plus 250. I thought was too good to pass up because
Yeah.
Jared Gordon has been knocked out a handful of times and in the UFC as well. He's been knocked out 4 times in his career. I think Bobby Green could put a little bit of a pace on him, maybe break him down as the fight goes on. So I had to sprinkle him round 3K up plus 1400 for a quarter of a unit as well.
Yeah.
The inside the distance plus 250 for a quarter unit there. And then it's somewhat of a hedge as well because on the props, I took Green over 84.5 significant strikes on no house advantage. So if it does, go longer in the fight, I think he surpasses that easily. He could surpass that in, 2 rounds, maybe a little bit into the third round. So there's upside there, but if he doesn't hit that over, that probably means he got to finish because I don't see him getting finished. And I
Yeah.
got that plus 250 there. So a little bit of a hedge while still leaving the door open where you can hit both. So I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then I also got him in a parlay with Francis Marshall plus 111 for a unit. So I got just straight up on the money line, Bobby Green, Francis Marshall
I like
plus
it.
111 for a unit. I got nothing on the Yasmin Lucindo Rogan Walker fight because I was just too scared away by where the money was. A lot of it was on Lucindo and it being women's MMA and her being 21 years old and Brogan Walker coming off of kind of an embarrassing loss. And I just didn't like it. I almost took Brogan Walker by some sort of decision,
Yeah.
but it was just a pass for me overall.
Yeah.
Got anything
Now,
else on that one?
just that parlay. I just that's about all I wanted to touch in women's MMA. I didn't want to have any straight bets on it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I like Lucinda. I think she wins, but it's just like, it's a little too chalky for me.
yeah.
Jeremiah Wells, Matt Semmelsberger. You go with your boy Semmelsberger again or no?
Nope. I thought about it. I really did, and I think he's obviously got more experience and fought better guys, probably. But man, Jeremiah Wells could be a guy we look up in 2 years, and he might have 5 more wins in a row under his belt. I think he's got the power. If it goes to the ground, man, his jiu-jitsu's slick, super strong. His striking can get a little bit wild, and it's not real technical, but at the same time, Simmelsberger leaves himself open to get hit a little bit. So, yeah, man, I got to rock with Wells, and I start liking it more and more as the week goes on. I got him for a unit at minus 110.
I honestly love that you didn't go with Semmelsberger again because we talked about it on the preview show that you took him at plus 240 against Jake
Yeah.
Matthews. Cash that, and a lot of times bettors will like fall in love with that underdog if they call
Yeah.
it. But I
Yep.
think it's always I gain more respect and more confidence in a person that can take that dog win and then turn it around and bet against them. So
Yeah, exactly.
I like
Yeah.
Jeremiah Wells in this one as well. So I'm glad that you said that. I took him inside the distance at plus 130 for a half a unit. And then I took him round 1 KO plus 700 for a quarter of a unit. So as you could tell, we're sprinkling on a couple props that are going to pay out some big money. So of course we're going to take some L's this week, but we're
Yep.
looking at some big payouts. And if it just takes one or two to make a good week. So that's all I got
Yep.
on that one. But that is the end of the main card. So you know what time it is. We're going to go with the no house advantage plays. I got 2 of them this week, a 3-leg power play and a 2-leg power play. So we're going with the 3-leg over 47.5 significant strikes for Tavares, over 84.5 significant strikes for Bobby Green, and under 38.5 significant strikes for Jeremiah Wells. That is 3-legger, 5.5x there for a half a unit. And then in the 2-legger for 3.2x for a unit, we took Jeremiah Wells under 38.5 significant strikes again and paired that with over 10 minutes of fight time for Tavares. I like all those a lot. And I wanted to get really invested in the props again this week. And I couldn't get a 4. I couldn't get a 4th prop to really make a 4-legger. So I went with 2 plays. And the over 10 minutes of fight time on Tavares was way too good to pass up because the line had moved to like 12.5 on prize picks. And now it's up to 12.5 on no loss advantage. So hopefully you got that early. And then, kind of as I explained earlier, I think those Tavares fight goes long, Green fights goes long, and then obviously I think Wells fight does not go long. So
Yep.
I like that. We got Ricky Glenn, Christos Yagos. What do you got in that?
Oh man, I was close to being on Giagos here, but I couldn't do it just from, the durability. It might be there, but I feel like he's going to start fading as he gets older, and we've kind of seen signs of that in the past. So overall, I laid off. And honestly, I'm not really impressed with Ricky Glenn either. So it was just a no bet situation for me. Did you get anything on it?
I don't have a side in it, but I saw this fight going. It's either a Yagos finish early, but then I think Ricky Glenn's fairly durable. He's only been finished twice in his career, both by submission. He's never been knocked out. So I
Yeah.
think Yagos could maybe rack up some control time early if he doesn't get finished or if he doesn't finish him. And then maybe Ricky Glenn can take over later. But either way, Ricky Glenn's significant strike number set at 56.5. I took the under in that one because there's an upside that the fight ends early, and there's an upside that there's a lot of clinch time because Glenn was getting controlled by Grant Dawson a lot in his last fight. So
Yep.
probably the avenue that I would expect Yagos to go. I like the under on significant strikes there for Glenn. Don't have a side though. Ronnie Yaya, Montel Jackson. What do you got on that?
I took Jackson by KO. I think Ronnie Yaya, man, it's got to stop sometime for him, as far as the durability and being able to fight some of these guys that are younger who are athletic and powerful like Jackson. I feel like he could find that finish. I'm gonna say somewhere around round 2. I didn't play that, but I think he does get the KO. Minus 120 for .5 units.
I like it. I took Jackson inside the distance minus 140 for a unit. I mean, Yaya is old. Jackson hits really hard for a 135er. I don't think he's going to want to take it to the ground. And I think I don't think Yaya can get it to the ground unless Jackson really, wants it to be there, which I don't think he will. So I think it's probably going to be a standing affair. Jackson puts him away. And then I also got Montel Jackson under 10 minutes of fight time for Prize Picks, which is now I think is at 8.5. So got a line there that I liked as well. I saw it. It was like minus 165 on books for a fight to not start round 3, which basically means 10 minutes of fight time. So I saw that and I was like, I gotta take it. Carol Rosa, Norma Dumont. What do you got in that one?
So for no, I did not have anything on this one. I've got some of this stuff in a longer parlay I'll list off at the end. It's a lot of around betting in that one. So yeah, nothing straight up on this one though.
Yeah, I don't either, actually. I almost went with Carol Rosa, but didn't get around to it. So I got nothing in that one. Muhammad Usman, Junior Tafa. This is another one that I also have nothing in. So a couple fights that we're not even gonna have to sweat anything. What do you got?
Yeah. So I did take Junior Tafa just because, man, it's more of a fading Muhammad Usman. I know he got that knockout against Zach Pauga, but other than that, little check left hook. I haven't seen anything I'm really too impressed with Usman with. I mean, he could maybe go out there and wrestle, but for how long? You know what I mean? He's got so much muscle and he's so dense. I just feel like he's going to get tired. And Junior Tafa is a world class kickboxer, so seeing that this is probably going to be standing, maybe Usman's falling in love with that power a little bit. I think Tafa touches him up on the feet. I got him for 1.5 units at minus 110.
Yeah, I almost touched Junior Tafa over on strikes because I think this could maybe go to a decision, but it's heavyweights, and that kind of scared me off. And I made a video today on my channel. I said unders are king, and I look at overs in a heavyweight fight. I'm like, that's a tough one to get around. So I didn't take it, but nothing in that one for me. Francis Marshall, William Gomi. I got Francis Marshall by KO or sub, so inside the distance, plus 180 for a half a unit. I think he can actually find a finish here. I think he's an aggressive dude. He's got some good power. He's got great submission skills. I actually like him to get the submission a little bit more, but he could catch him on the way in as well, coming off a knockout in a smaller cage. And I like his under on significant strikes, 48.5, which is I thought it was just a little bit too much because I think the finish is live. I think there could be a lot of clinch and ground control time in this fight, with it being the smaller cage, Francis Marshall mainly a wrestler grappler. But if he does throw those heavy hands and put him away early, I don't think Gomi's going to really like taking those shots. In the fight against Jarno Aarons, he was not liking getting hit at all. He actually went to wrestling himself. So I like the under on significant strikes there as well. And then, as I said earlier, Bobby Green, Francis Marshall in a parlay, plus 111 for a uni. What do you got?
Yeah, nothing on that one. I got some in that longer parlay at the end. But if I were to lean somewhere, man, I was really close to pulling the trigger on Gomi just because the odds, but I just haven't seen enough out of both guys at this level to be confident enough for my money at least. So I had to pass on the straight up bets.
Yeah, Gomi, did he end up missing? He missed weight. He was like 147, but then they were going to give him an hour to lose the extra pound. I don't know if he even made it or not.
I didn't pay too much attention to that one just because I didn't have anything on it. But
I didn't either. But I saw that he was overweight, and then there is some stat out there. It's like 60% of the time or something, the fighter that misses weight actually wins.
Yeah.
But in this case, I just don't like it. I don't like that he's coming over here from France. He's panicking, having to miss weight. He literally weighed in with like 30 seconds left in the first time span window. So I like Francis Marshall this week. Hopefully I'm not wrong, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to be kicking myself because there's that stat out there. I'm like, fuck. But Bakary Dana, Brady Heastan, first fight of the night. This is going to be our free play. We'll put out to everybody. Dana money line minus 135. I have it as well on my card at the same price, minus 135 for 1.35 units. So we're getting a unit back there. And then I got him on a sprinkle of round 1 KO plus 425 and round 2 KO plus 650 for 0.2 units each. So I think he does get it done early, and I think the finish is definitely live for him. So I got him. We'll go over the prize picks because I didn't pair him up when I was going over them. So in the first play, I got under 55.5 significant strikes for Dana. Pair that with under 56.5 significant strikes for Ricky Glenn. That is the first play, 3x for a unit. Second play, under 48.5 significant strikes for Marshall and under 10 minutes of fight time for Montel Jackson. Pair those up for 3x and a unit. Other than that, that's all I got on that one. I just think it's a good spot for Dana. What do you think?
Yeah, I got Dana too. And as the week went on, and I watched a lot of film on these two fighters, I knocked it down to a half unit at minus 135. I told myself I'd go to a whole unit if it got down under minus 120, and it just never wanted to move there. But yeah, man, he's got to get the takedowns. And even if you get takedowns nowadays in the UFC, man, you're not guaranteeing yourself a win. We saw it with Lucy Pudilova. The striker is getting the benefit of the doubt with these judges lately. And I also think Bakary has a chance to knock him out, too. We've seen Brady Heastan dropped by Ricky Tercios, who doesn't have a lot of power, by Fernie Garcia. And now he's going to be with an actual hard hitter in Dana Bakary. So, yeah, I like him here for half unit. I think we'll get it to hit. Other than that, I got an 8-leg parlay for plus 880 for half a unit. And I think it's got a good chance of hitting. Listen to this. All right, you ready? Bobby Green money line, Yasmin Lucindo, Gomi and Marshall to start round 2, Dumont and Rosa to start round 2, Montel Jackson on the money line, Usman and Tafa not to start round 3. Someone's got to get knocked out there. That's a big one. Blaydes and Sergey Pavlovich not to start round 4. Wells and Simmelsberger to start round 2, and Tavares and Silva to start round 2. Plus 880, half a unit. Try to get over 4 units back on that one. I just need a lot of these fights to make it to the second round, and I think we're sitting good.
Yeah.
I don't see a bunch of first-round finishing ability from a lot of these guys.
What is that, 8 legs?
8 legs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
It's going to be tough, but a lot of them are like, minus 400.
Yeah, a lot of
the
them.
Plays that should hit.
I forgot to go over one of my parlays because I mentioned it earlier. Under 2.5 for Blaydes versus Pavlovich. Pair that with over 2.5 for Carol Rosa and Norma Dumont. So I do have a little skin in the game in that fight. Minus 161
Yeah.
for a unit. So it's just a little bankroll builder there. We're looking for some violence with the heavyweights and the featherweights to not chin each other. So that's all we got for the card. You got anything else you want to go over?
Um, no, I think that's about it. I'm trying to, pick my spots here. I had Silva and Cachoeira under 2.5. I thought that was going to be pure violence and a good bet, but that
Yeah,
one
we
scrapped.
lost that
So
one. That sucked.
yeah, I think we got a good chance to make some money tomorrow. I'm feeling good. Um, should be a decent card with what we've got. After this week, though, we got some really good cards coming up. Good time to be a UFC fan and better.
Yeah, we lost that Silva Cachoeira fight, so I had Silva by sub, but just disregard that on the spreadsheet. And
Yeah,
then I also put the little Prize Picks 30x entry in there. We're talking in the Discord, and it was Flex Friday today on Prize Picks, and Rami wanted the 30x, the 6-legger. So I threw that in there. That's what I put in. If you're looking for it tomorrow, it won't be able to get 30x, but if you still want that 25x, go ahead and take it.
yeah.
Just a little sprinkle on there. Get a little money in the Prize Picks account. Maybe we can hit that 6-legger and have a good weekend. But other than that, we'll have 11 fights tomorrow to look forward to. We got a little bit of Bellator. If you're watching this, I'm big on Patchy Mix this week. So if you made it to the end of this video, I'm taking Patchy Mix. I got him as an underdog in Bellator. I like him this week. And then the boxing match. I guess we could give a little prediction here. I got Tank. I got Tank, and I got the over 7.5. And then I got Tank round 7 through 12 by
I like
KO.
it.
So I think a little late finish by Tank. That's what I got in the boxing match. You got any leans for premium members?
Oh, so I don't, man. I haven't watched enough of. I watch all of Tank's fights, and I feel like Ryan Garcia hasn't fought as frequently. But man, Ryan Garcia, I think early will probably steal some rounds with the volume and the length. I think Tank might have trouble, really getting in close and figuring out that length. And I mean, Garcia's fast too, so it's an interesting one. I don't necessarily think Ryan Garcia is going to win, but I think it could be a lot closer than people think. And I think that over 7 rounds is definitely live. Other than that, I wouldn't be too confident playing anything else. But I think it definitely sees the later rounds.
If you don't know, Tank is Gervonta Davis. But
Yeah, yeah.
other than that, thank you guys for all the support, and we hope to keep giving you guys some good plays and give you some value. But till then, the double leg, we'll see you in the next video.